Hello, is this the famous B from DRONR?
Oh man, you must have the wrong number. I don't know anyone famous on this side of the line.
What? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We are on our very first speed dial.
Yeah, this is interesting. You sound interesting. I'll say that. I hope I sound good.
You sound great.
It,
Do I
it
do I
sounds
not
weird.
sound do I not
Okay.
sound clear? You mean like because I'm dialing through I think a VoIP call.
Oh no, you sound okay. It's kind of choppy, but at the same time, I understand.
Okay, good. Well, this is beta software, so they're testing it to see if it's any good. So there you go. So we
All right,
have
we're here for it.
we have 24 folks watching right now on YouTube. Welcome everybody
Cool.
who's tuned in. We basically, oh yeah, I see you're in there too. Awesome. Um, this
I
is
am.
something. This is something new. It's something that I'm trying out. I've been wanting to get into podcasts for a while, and this gives you the ability to do a sort of audio only thing through a YouTube stream. And why would you do that? Well, a few things. Number one, you're not always camera ready. I'm never camera ready.
That's
Uh,
real.
no, number two, though, I think it's the kind of thing that you could do. You could do while you were driving. You could do while people maybe and other people could listen while they were driving. I mean, listen. I listen to a ton of audio through my headphones, whether it's podcasts or music or audiobooks. But I'll be, doing the dishes, riding my bike, cutting the yard, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I agree. I do the same thing. Like whenever I listen to like TED Talks or anything like that. Like there's not much to see. Sometimes I only can find them on YouTube. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I'll just put it up, plug it into a speaker, and just listen to it or my headphones. I'm not watching it, but it's way more convenient because it's you still can pay attention, but you don't have to be looking at it.
Well, that's the idea here. So we'll see how it goes. I've got 4 likes and somebody hit that first dislike button. Thanks, buddy. Whoever that was.
There's
Appreciate
always
it.
somebody. There's always somebody. Like
It's like
always, no matter
it's
what.
like we
But
want
hey,
to
I
be
made the video
first.
because I love you guys.
Yeah. Well, so where are you right now, Brennan?
I'm actually in LA in a park.
Oh, nice.
Literally, I'm that guy. I'm sitting cross-legged in the park. So I was actually, I rode my bike about 20 miles to my friend's house this afternoon. And my friend who came with me was on a one wheel, and he had a technical issue, so we got kind of hung up on getting back. So I was just like, hey guys, I need better reception, and you guys are too loud. So I just walked to a park around the corner, and now we're having a call, which makes it's perfect because I don't have to be camera ready.
Ken Heron says he imagines you in a cute pink onesie.
I do have a first of all, hi Ken. Like catch all
Or
of the shade in
is
that
it
tone.
is
I
it
love
high
you,
Ken?
but
Is it high
hi Ken.
Ken or Ken is high?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Ken, what is it? You go ahead and let us know. But I will say I have one piece of clothing on that is pink, and no, Ken, it's not my underwear. I knew he was gonna say that, just for the record.
Well, my buddy Scott is telling me that I'm cutting out. That you sound good, but that I'm cutting out. So I'm gonna try moving as well. I'm on my front porch right now, and I'm wondering if maybe it's just where I'm sitting that's bad. Does this sound better? Any
No, it still sounds pretty choppy, like I was saying.
still
You're actually getting more choppy now.
more choppy?
Much
All
more
right,
choppy.
all right. Well, then let me try this. Let me try switching over to my actual phone instead of the AirPods. Maybe that's it. So hold on one
Maybe.
second, everybody. Brendan, tell them
And
something amazing.
oh, I got it. Well, the first thing I'll say is what's amazing is we're gonna talk one of the things we're gonna talk about today is how I actually have been able to fly the Mavic Air 2. Obviously, it has been announced that they're not necessarily out and everybody can't have their hands on them yet. But I was very completely lucky to get my hands on one, and we're going to talk about that because it was a fun experience. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Does this sound any better?
Um, what'd you say?
Does this sound any better?
Well, I think my answer, what'd you say, is very telling.
Yeah.
And
No, this that's not a good thing. Okay, well, audio issues. I'm gonna just keep walking around until I find a spot. But tell us about how you got to fly the Mavic 2.
right there,
Air.
right there, right
Right
there,
here?
right there.
That's
You sound
better.
good right there. Yep, you sound
Okay.
good. Yep.
Cool. How did you get to fly the Mavic
Well,
2
yeah.
Air?
So, well, now you can keep walking. But how I got to fly the Mavic 2 is it was so random. I have so pretty much the way that I'm quarantining is I pretty much live alone for the most part. And so I have an extremely small group of people, aka 3 people, that I allow myself to see that are also doing the same thing. They have like 1 or 2 people, and we're all super careful about it. So there's one person I'm allowed to see, and I went with my friend. They had the idea of this super bloom, that's just north of LA, and I was like, that's cool. That sounds great. I was like, I'm gonna bring my Mavic Air with me, because if you don't know what the super bloom is, it's like pretty much entire mountainside, a whole area of like the desert, and just north of LA near the Lancaster and Palmdale area, that has a super bloom of flowers that is extremely vibrant orange and purple colors, and it is where every Instagrammer goes who lives in LA during this time of year to be able to take really cool pictures or whatever. And so I wanted to go and fly my drone, just see some cool stuff. I had never seen it before, and I want to get out of the house. So we went, and before we left, she was talking to one of her friends about what we were going to do, and then I was bringing a drone. And apparently she is like the production manager for another YouTuber who has quite a few more followers than me. His name is Jesse, and he has like 10 million followers. And DJI had gifted this man the Mavic Air 2 to make some videos, which are up on his channel now, actually. And he wanted some extra footage, and found out that a professional drone pilot was going with a friend of a friend, because they were next to each other when she had told her, and asked if I would be okay with coming to pick it up and taking it out and flying some stuff, do comparison shots between the Mavic Air and the Mavic Air 2. Of course, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, definitely, I'm in on this. And so, yeah, we went out there, and I got to do direct comparison between the Mavic Air and Mavic Air 2, which was interesting because I didn't have any ND for the Mavic Air 2, so I had to do everything in like pretty much auto camera settings. But I really liked the drone. It was solid. I see you out there talking. But yeah, it was really solid. It was really, like, the winds were actually pretty heavy up there. When I was there, they were probably like sustained 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. Both the drones did really well, but the Mavic Air 2, being a bigger drone and more powerful drone, obviously did better. So it was pretty cool.
And OcuSync 2, right? I mean, the clarity of the picture, I'm sure, was pretty amazing.
I want to say yeah, but I used the exact same phone. Just look at the difference. I couldn't tell if it was the clarity of the picture or just a better camera on the drone, because I wasn't able to take the footage home with me to play with. Like, they took the footage with them from that drone. So for me, it definitely looked better. But, I would assume it's that, but I don't know. Until you get the footage on the computer, it's hard to tell what you're looking at and what's the difference.
Well, and the coolest thing about that is that you weren't even expecting it, right? It just sort of happened. It was one of these serendipitous things.
It was out of literally nowhere. Like, I had no expectations of it. I woke up that day thinking I was just going to go have a good time with my homie, like seeing some beautiful nature wonder stuff. And I got to fly the newest drone that's not even out yet.
Yeah, that's
I was pretty
awesome.
happy about it.
What do you normally fly these days? What's your main drone?
It depends on the job. Some, like, for my small jobs, I still use a Phantom 4 Pro or Mavic 2 Pro. But for the bigger jobs, Inspire 2. But I keep my Mavic Air pretty much in my backpack at all times, because a cinematographer that I worked with for years now. He's worked on a lot of different TV shows and all that. And one of the things that really resonated with me that he said to me years ago is like, you know what the best camera in the world is? I was like, no, what is it? I named a couple cameras, and he's like, it's the one you have with you.
Yes,
and
I love that. I love that saying.
Yeah, it's just like, oh wow, okay. That's true, because whatever you have with you is what you can create with. You can capture moments, immortalize things, and everything. And so the Mavic Air, the original Mavic Air, still to me is my favorite drone out of the convenience of it. How small it is, how long the flight time is, that it shoots 4K, how stable it is, all the settings it has. It just does everything. And I've actually used the Mavic Air for network television footage before.
Wow. Yeah. Didn't you have the Mavic Air down in South America?
I had it down when I was in South America. I had it shooting for CMT in South Carolina. I've honestly used this Mavic Air to shoot probably at least a couple hours of like on-air content between the Curse of Acticore show and other shows I was randomly on, where it's just like, hey, I just so happen to have it in my backpack, and I pulled it out to get some shots, and everybody wanted to use them, and it wasn't the plan. It's the perfect, like I said, it's the best camera you have because it's one you have with you.
And I know it sounds like B just coughed there for a second, but he didn't cough. He said Curse of Acticore. Now, Curse of Acticore, it has nothing to do with COVID, right? Isn't that true? Or is it if you eat too many chilies, you get the Curse of Acticore the next day? What happens?
Well, I mean, like honestly, if you listen to Ken's channel for too long, then things just start to happen in your life, and I believe that's what it was called. It's a curse. But all jokes aside, like the curse of Akakor was like looking for some lost people, looking for lost people, looking for a lost city, in the jungles of Peru and Brazil, and it was pretty much like Scooby Doo meets Indiana Jones, and I was Velma, where I was the one with all the technology and the smarts and whatever, and so I got to go out there and be
and the
that guy.
glasses. And the glasses.
Oh, and of course, and the sexy specs, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, was Velma the sexy one, or was she the more shall we say homely one?
I'm gonna say it is subject. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and Velma is the best. That's
All
what I'm
right,
saying. But
all
I
right.
will say she's the one. She's the one rocking orange.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. No, I'm a big Velma fan. She usually solved the mystery, right? She was the one that actually said
Yeah,
it. It was Old Man
she's
Johnson
she's
down by the carnival.
yeah, she's the one that always figures it out or notices like the tiny thing that you gotta and puts all the stuff together. She's like, oh wait, what if we would have done this and gone here and saw this, and now because of the farmer dropped his rake over here, we now know he had to be present, and of course the janitor ended up being the killer or whatever, or whatever.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's never
Of
a killer
course,
Scooby Doo.
of
Yeah, of
course.
course. It's just like it was elementary, Watson. Elementary.
Well, so as far as Curse of Akikor goes, just for people that don't know, it was about finding people. You were on it, and people. Can you still watch it on Facebook? It's still on Facebook TV, right?
Yeah, Facebook Watch is what it's called. But yeah, Facebook Watch is a platform that you didn't know you already have. If you have Facebook, it's free. It comes with your just your Facebook membership, and it's pretty much just a video platform, somewhat kind of sort of like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. It's more like a Facebook version of it. It really to me just feels like Facebook, but a lot of hosting place for a lot of video content because you still can comment, like, and share and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
You were talking about Facebook Watch, and it's what seems like it's happening right now is there's a lot of niche going on, like really, really specific television and movies, for every interest, right? Drones, adventure, whatever. You told me a little bit, and I'd like to hear more about documentary that you guys were putting together. Can you talk about that?
Oh, you mean the table tennis one?
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty
So
niche, don't
I'd
you
say this
think?
is yeah. I mean, it's a concept that we've been working on for a while. The way it happened is so I'm owner of a video production company called Transit Pictures, and we've worked a lot with the Sierra Club, which is one of the biggest environmental organizations in the country, to make documentaries for them. And we were working on a documentary that took us all across the country. And one of the places it took us was to Michigan, and that's where I'm from. I'm from Grand Blanc, Michigan, which is a suburb of Flint, Michigan. And so while we were there, we're traveling with a small crew of like 4 or 5 people that are also like some of my best friends. So a lot of them had never been to Michigan. So I called my parents and said, hey, can we come stay at the house for a couple of days? And we did. And we went over there and we stayed there. And one thing that always happens when we go home is that my father and I have a rivalry in table tennis. Well, I mean, that's a very interesting way to call it a rivalry. But we play table tennis every time I'm home. Ping pong, for those who don't know what table tennis is. But we play that. And what happened was we got down there, and the thing is, like, with all my friends, it's one thing that pretty much anybody is that I'm pretty good at table tennis. And Kelly learned that, right, Kelly?
I did. I did. I got my well. So we were playing. I thought I was doing pretty well. Turns out my serve was a cheater serve, and Brennon wasn't playing with his dominant hand. So there you go.
We had a good time, though. It was
We
a good
did. We
time.
did for
But
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't a cheater serve. It was just a serve of someone who didn't know.
Right.
Just like you didn't know the proper rules, and it's like you can't like, hey, you're doing this wrong while you're beating somebody with your offhand. It's not a good look. No matter how you do it, it's just like we'll figure this out at some point.
Well, so
But
so
either
so
way,
real quick on that, just so everybody knows, the proper serve in table tennis, if I understand, is you have to toss it at least 6 inches in the air and hit it on the way down. Is that correct?
almost. Oh, loud car going by me. No, I say almost. You're very close. The only thing you can add to that is that you cannot hide the ball, and that you have to throw the ball from a flat hand. And the reason is because you don't want to be able to put spin on the ball before you hit it. So you have to do a flat hand, expose the ball so the other person can see the ball, and pretty much just throw it straight up in the air, go 6 inches, and then you may hit it. That is how you correctly serve a table tennis ball.
Yeah, yeah. So back to your documentary. You and your father play this intense game, right?
Yeah, so like we were warming up, and my friend, and they had seen me play against many other people in the past. Like Tony had saw my friend, the director of the documentary, Tony. had met Kelly while we were there. He saw us play. He's seen me do that to many people and beat many people with my left hand, but he's never seen me actually play somebody for real. And so in this case, with my father, you know, I had my right hand out. We're warming up, and there's okay, this looks like regular table tennis. And we start the game, and it kind of felt like their jaws hit the ground for how fast we started moving and how fast the ball was moving. And they're like, "This is crazy." And then after the game, I lost. My father whooped me. After I lost, my dad proceeded to say, like, they were like, "Oh wow, how often do you guys do this?" And my dad proudly walks over to his table tennis table thing in the corner where he has a book of every single game where he's recorded every single game that we've played since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And so of course, and I pretty much every game I lost, I would actually write a comment in of why I didn't think it was fair that my father was recording this.
Right,
you know,
of course.
I had a hurt elbow. You know, you have to give justification. You can't just let numbers sit. You know, that's not pure, like, data has a story. It's not just data.
So if I saw this book, I would see all these maybe call them excuses.
I would just say I would say additions to the information.
Additions to the information.
More data.
Okay.
Yeah, just more information for you to consider when looking at the score. That's all it really is.
So in 20 years, when a film crew is sent to investigate, there'll be some clues.
There will definitely be clues. So it's like, why was this man winning all the time? It's like, well, it seems that at some points he had some unfair advantages and just a lot of things. You know, there's just things happening. So either way, they saw that, and Tony saw it, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And he had the idea of, like, you know, while we were there, they had a lot of questions about how table tennis is working and all that, just like what we just talked about now, how to do a proper serve and things like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I didn't know anything about it, but, you know, everybody I know plays ping pong just for fun, like in basements or whatever. And so he had the idea, or like an idea came about all of us, and saying, well, why don't we make a documentary about table tennis that's like to teach and like inform about the culture of table tennis and how big it is in other countries, and use the framing device for that documentary to be my rivalry between my father. The idea being is the documentary would start with me, you know, getting whooped by my dad, and then like I'm saying, I'm going to vowing to defeat him, and then go to the country that has a huge table tennis culture, learning about that culture, but also training rigorously for like a month or something like that, so I can come back and beat him. And so of course I'm going to come back and beat him, which he completely agrees with, by the way. Yeah, he doesn't believe no matter how much training I do, I'll never be able to beat him.
Does he have to let you? Does he have to let you win in that case? Like if you're doing a documentary, I mean no. That kind of cheapens it a little bit for me.
Oh no, we're gonna play. Like,
okay,
if I lose, I lose. Like that's
all right.
But I'm not going to lose. Kelly. That's the point. I refuse to lose. But either way, I will give 110. And one other small detail that I'm gonna just give away, one little thing that's gonna probably, I hope we get to this point and it happens in the end, is that one detail I didn't say is that, Kelly, when I played you, you know, where do you think I learned how to play with my left hand? Or my offhand? I learned that from my father, because that's
your father.
Because that's how he still plays me.
Wow.
He still plays me with his non-dominant hand and beats my dominant hand with it. So at the end of the documentary, I imagine, assuming I do win and beat his left hand, he's probably going to switch to his right and destroy me.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I think the answer could break my heart if it's lower than my number. But how old is your dad?
My dad is, I think, 61.
Oh, good. I was so afraid I was going to be older than your dad. That would have been terrible. doesn't really make sense. The math doesn't add up. But
no, the math doesn't add up either way.
I would totally watch that documentary. That would be something I think I would enjoy. I just want to mention real quick, if anybody's bored and wants to see a great documentary, I saw one at South by Southwest probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, called Air Guitar Nation, and it's about these people that do competitive air guitar. And it sounds really dumb, but the movie was amazing. And so, you know, you can make a great movie about anything. You just need a good story.
Wow. Yeah, I might have to check that out, because I'm curious to how you can. I guess, you know, if you really commit to it, then I guess it's kind of a form of dance, huh? Or something.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, some of these guys look like they're having a seizure or something, but I mean, they're into it. They're very into it. Well, I saw a couple of comments fly through. This is a drone channel, right? So let me ask a couple of drone questions. So
yeah,
you've been doing some stuff with Remote Pilot 101. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So Remote Pilot 101 is awesome. I met them because of Ken. Ken was scheduled to be on a live with them, and unfortunately wasn't able to do it. And so I did a live with them. And apparently they liked the advice that I was giving. I think the specific moment happened when I was asked by Jason if he pretty much was like, yo, like, what is the best advice you can give to somebody who wants to get into the drone industry? And I kind of winged it because there's so many different types of advice you can give to somebody about that. But I could tell he wanted me to talk about the drone cinematography industry, not just the drone industry in general. And I said, okay, well, I said, follow the film incentives. You know, film incentives really guide where filming is happening all over the country. And they also create opportunities because a lot of film incentives have, they have stipulations that you have to hire locals wherever you're filming to be able to receive the incentive. So these film incentives move all over the country. Like that's how my brother originally got involved because there was one in Michigan, North Carolina, Atlanta, Louisiana. They bounce all over the place. Different states do it because they know productions show up just to spend money.
And they'll give like tax breaks and financial incentives, right?
Exactly. And so they give them that tax breaks and financial incentives to film because they know that these productions don't show up to cost any money. They literally show up simply to spend money because they want to create something. And so if you look and follow where those are going and what's happening with those different things, you're going to be able to find a lot of opportunities to be able to possibly get your foot in the door and start getting to know DPs, directors, as well as have Showtime experience on big production sets. That's how you can get the experience because you can do things I cannot. If they have, like, I'm a pro drone pilot, but sometimes there's stipulation. They need to make sure they hire X amount of locals, and normally drones are the guys who only come in for 1 or 2 days of filming on a whole entire show. A lot of times that's what we do because you don't need 5-10% of your shots at the most are going to be drone shots on most projects. And so you don't need drone guys there every single day. And so if they're looking for a way to be able to make sure they hire locals and they want to be able to, and you're looking for an opportunity, then it could be something if you put together a good enough drone reel and just really, really stay on top of it and be persistent, then you can find your way into the industry. That if you get your foot in the door, that's all it really takes. From there, it's just good business, good business practices, good cinematography, good follow-up, and you're good to go.
And you've flown for, I mean, can you tell some of the networks or shows? I mean, I think you've flown for Top Gear, right?
No, I was a producer for Top Gear, actually.
Oh, okay.
I did not. Yeah. I flew for the Grand Tour though, which
the
is
Grand
the new
Tour.
Top Gear.
Yeah,
that's it. Like the Amazon show. I did a lot of the drone shots for the opening for that. I've done drone shots for concerts like the Beyonce and Jay-Z on the Run World Tour too. I did drones for that. I've done it for a bunch of different private companies. I've done it for CMT, CBS, Fox. I recently did the James Corden show with Harry Styles when they did the sidewalk karaoke thing.
Oh yeah,
pretty
nice.
Funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got to do that with my homies at Glide Aerials. So yeah, a lot of documentaries that my company produces. I do the drone work for that. But yeah, man, I've been all over and flown in a lot of interesting places. And the biggest thing is, again, like I said, good cinematography, good business practices, and just be a person that people want to be around on set. And people are going to want to bring you back. And so that's pretty much. I haven't done very little. I've done very little advertising of what it is that I offer. But I get recommended a lot simply because of the experience that I bring to the set.
That's awesome. Well, and so you were mentioning about Remote Pilot 101. You're kind of teaming up with Jason now. And just by the way, for people who don't know, Remote Pilot 101 is it's an online course where you can get your Part 107. And you can't get it from them, but you can learn how to get it from them. I took it. I got mine. I'm not that smart a guy, so it must be good classes. Jason is a very dynamic instructor. I'll tell you what I did. I signed up for it and I watched it twice all the way through. Just watched it, like did it once where I just watched it. And the second time I took notes and stuff like that, like made little flashcards, made screenshots of things. And I got a 90 on my test. And quite honestly, it's funny. When I took my test, I thought that I got 100. I was like, I don't think I missed anything. And then it turned out I got a 90, but still I had the confidence, and that's what you need.
Oh yeah. You gotta have the confidence.
So
what's interesting, I actually failed my test the first time I took it.
Really?
Because I didn't take it seriously. Yeah, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't use Remote Pilot 101. And I had like a manual that was like 200 pages. I skimmed it and I was just like, I'm good. And I failed the test by one question.
Oh.
Like by one question. And so I had to wait, I think, a month or two to take it again. And one of my business partners was like, yo, man, this is how I passed it. And he just sent me Remote Pilot 101. I watched the course one time, and the night before went and took it and got like a 85 or 90 or something like that. And was just like, yo, this is it. This is the way to go. And after I was on there live, to go back to the question is, they reached out and said that they liked what I was bringing to the table when it comes to my knowledge and what I have and all that. And so they're saying, hey, like we'd love to be able to put some content on our channel of yours, talking about drone cinematography, about drones, and about the things and about your experiences. And they kind of gave me free reign to do it. And so I was just like, this is a great partnership. And so we did it. And so now I've already filmed the first month's worth of content, and I'm going to be sending it over to them, and we'll be making content. I'll be having you guys will see me in more than one place now.
So if we go and if we look at Remote Pilot 101, we'll see some of the videos you're producing for it. Can you give us a clue on topics like what the first one will be?
Well, I have revised DRONR News, which is a thing that a lot of people have been asking me for on my drone channel. Is that people really like the DRONR News thing that I did for a really long time. So I brought that back to life, and it's pretty fun because now instead of it having to be weekly, which is very difficult to come up with a bunch of new drone news on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
It's a monthly DRONR News thing, which I feel is a lot more relevant. I'm going to be interviewing other pro drone pilots, whether it be cinematographers or like people that are in industry or even drone racers. I'm going to be interviewing them and getting their industry best tips.
YouTubers.
I'm going to be talking about what's up?
YouTubers. Drone YouTubers.
Yeah, you're funny. Yes, definitely YouTubers.
So
1000% YouTubers.
And I have to just say, I agree. There is a reason that I do first Friday instead of every Friday, because it's just a lot of work. And I do applaud Ken Herron for what he does every week, because he pours his heart into it and puts on a hell of a show every week. But I couldn't do it every week, not even at the level I'm doing it.
Yeah, he puts a lot into that, man. Every time I'm on his show, he's like, he has a song prepared. He has like 3 or 4 guests that have each their own role of what they're supposed to be doing, what they bring to the table. It's just impressive. No matter, like, you say, yo, this is a production. This isn't just some little live thing. Like, if you guys haven't had a chance, you've got to check out Ken Herron live, because my man is an entertainer and he puts on a show, but you also learn stuff. So it's a good experience.
And if you don't know any dad jokes, you'll learn a bunch.
Oh God, yeah, the jokes for sure. He is. I wouldn't say he's the king of the dad jokes, but he's a jester of dad jokes. How about that?
Yeah, I like it. Well, so you mentioned a minute ago about having some FPV pilots on DRONR News and such. You and I were talking the other day about
like, are you paying me for this? And she was like, yeah. I was like, well, yeah. I'll show up to sit there and do nothing. And so I show up and I talked to him a little bit ahead of time. He was really, really cool. His name's David. And he also was very humble in the sense of he's like, hey man, I've never been on a production set before. I'm not exactly sure what to expect. And so I ended up just taking on the space of being like his liaison between production and him, to be able to help him take the pressure off of him in the shots, because he felt a lot of pressure as a drone pilot. Not even as an FPV pilot, there is an immense amount of pressure on you when it's your time to shine. Like, okay, cool. We just finished all this. We have the main talent in position. Drone, let's bring it up. We only have 5 minutes to get 7 shots. Go.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, wait, I need to charge my batteries. Hold on. Oh, wait, this cable's not working. Oh, wait, what channel am I on? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's so many things that happen at once, and you got to be ready for that. And so I made sure he was. I did all the communication for him. I made sure, because the director, directors are huge personalities, and this guy was definitely one of them who was asking for things that there's no business to be asking for. And so I was the bad guy, and I was just like, yeah, well, safety says no. And I was doing those things simply because I knew that those shots were either close to impossible or actually dangerous. And David really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And afterwards, the shoot went great. It was for like a music artist whose name I should definitely remember. I think Jay Cortez, I think was his name. And it has like 50 million, 60 million views now.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool video. And he's a huge artist, obviously. He's a huge artist.
So Jay, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I'll get it from you guys, and what I'll do is after this, because of the nature of what we're doing right now, I wasn't able to post any links or any description or anything in this. If you'll send me the link to the video, I'll put it in the description of this video if anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. And so, but yeah, afterwards, so he and I didn't talk about what our experiences are, what we actually did. We just focused on the job. And afterwards, we was cool. And so what we did was we connected after, and we were just talking about like what we were doing with our lives and what's going on. He was like, wait, you have a production company? You have a drone channel? You have a popular drone channel? You like, what are you? Who are you? Kind of thing. And then I found out he was like the COO, had recently become like the COO of a company called Newbie Drone. That is a lot like their name. They're really trying to get people into FPV flying. So you could they have like these starter kits for FPV flyers, and also like drones that are even like really advanced FPV parts and fully built drones that they sell. And so he was just like, I am dedicated. I'm going to make you an FPV pilot. And he sent me a whole kit with like a bunch of swag and everything. He's like, you're going to do this. You're going to love it. And I was like, okay, cool. And so he's actually been sending me stuff, and like we've stayed in contact since then. And I've been flying FPV stuff.
Nice.
So
nice.
You know, maybe I'll be able to fly the next music video that comes my way. We'll see.
That would be awesome. Well, so I would love to check that out, because I think flying these, you know, I think a lot of people are calling them cine whoops now, cine whoops, like cinematic, tiny whoop kind of things. Do you know what kind of drone it was he was flying? Was it a Shen drones, like a Squirt? Did it have ducted propellers?
So he brought 3 different drones. So depending on the shot, he used different ones. So some of them had covers on the blades. He had a 3-inch. He had like, I think 1 3-inch and 2 5-inch ones. I don't know the names of the types of drones he was flying. I'm gonna assume they were newbie drones. I literally do not know, because of that. On that day, I didn't know very much about. I knew about FPV obviously, but I'd only flown a couple times. Like one of the times was with you, Kelly.
Yep.
And so it's like And so for me, it's like I didn't know enough about it to really even look at the drone and like, what is this? What's this frame? What kind of motor do you have on here? Is this a custom build, or is this something you bought? Like, I didn't know anything. And in all honesty, I still don't know very much. So in all honesty, I cannot answer your question. I have no idea. You hit the wall of my ignorance.
No, that's all right. So I just recently, I've been flying a lot more FPV and doing the Drone Racing League sim, the simulator on Steam, which is a gaming platform, and getting better at it. But I just recently, right before this whole COVID thing started, I took a Squirt, which is a Squirt 2, actually. It's made by Shen Drones. I took it out to the woods and chased a buddy of mine on his mountain bike, and was actually pretty happy with how well I did and how the footage turned out. So I haven't cut anything together because I don't have that much of it. You know, we did like 5 or 6 runs of him down this one part of the trail, but you know, between trees and had a GoPro on it and using the stabilization on the GoPro, the footage turned out looking pretty good. But I'm hoping to get better at that sort of thing myself.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe that is one part of the future of drone cinematography. Is definitely going to be FPV flights. And so if you don't have if you're not an FPV pilot yourself and you don't have one on your team, then you're going to be at a huge disadvantage when you're quoting different clients, because you could say, hey, look, these are the different kind of footages, these are the different kind of looks we're going to be able to give you if you hire us onto this project or whatever. And it's like now, like even companies like Newbie Drone, I know, are looking to develop drones like FPV drones that are cine drones, like you're saying. And so it's just like, this is going to be a new thing. This is going to be a new thing. And it's going to change the way that it's going to partially change the way that we experience video, simply because it's going to be a really good, huge transitional point. It's going to be a crazy first-person perspective for a lot of different things. And I really do see this being something that's going to change. Like that we're really in the near future, we're really going to see changing the way that our media landscape looks and feels in a lot of projects.
Well, and especially with 360 cameras and all the smoothness they can do, right? Because they can make the images so smooth after the fact that even if the drone doesn't have a gimbal, you know, or it's bumping around, the footage can turn out amazing. Do you have much experience with 360 cameras?
Actually, I do. I actually did some 360 shooting for the movie Creed 2.
Oh, really?
Watch the movie Creed 2. I'm in the credits twice.
So like as in Apollo Creed from Rocky?
Yeah, so it's his son. So these are the new Rocky movies, pretty much.
All right,
the first one is called Creed, and then it's Creed 2, and it's like the continuation of the Rocky movies. They're actually both really good movies.
Okay.
And so the second one, I worked on it as a producer, a 360 cam producer, because what we did is we went to some of the biggest boxing matches in the world, like the original Tyson versus what's his name? Not Tyson. It was Deontay Wilder versus Ortiz, #1. The first fight they had, like I was in the ring. I was the second to last person in the ring before Deontay Wilder and Ortiz got in the ring. Because what we did is before the second to last fight, when the crowd is full and ready for the big fight to happen, the network granted us permission to get up on the stage for, I think, 5 minutes with our 360 rig, and then have somebody with a microphone, talk to the crowd and tell them, like, hey, this is from the new Creed movie. What we want you guys to do is act like you just heard a big punch or somebody just got knocked out. And we went through a bunch of different emotions with the audience. And they played along. And they did a great job.
Nice.
We put a 360 rig, a custom designed 360 rig that my friend David Smith, from drivingplates.com. He's a genius, a literal cinema technologist genius.
That's
he
awesome.
designed a rig for this particular shoot, and they were able to capture 360 plates of an audience that they were able to put into the movie. So that's what we did. We captured the audience for the movie. So the audiences you're seeing in those films, especially the second one, is the audience that I am the one who captured with my team.
That was a real boxing audience. Like they're about to watch a
Yes.
fight. They were all worked up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. This is a real boxing audience, ready for a boxing match. Just finished watching one, getting ready to see a world championship. So
that's
awesome. That's a real audience, and it was amazing.
So
have the energy next to the ring before a title fight is crazy.
Why did you guys pick a 360 camera?
Simply so we could get as many angles as possible. So we had a 360 camera and camera at the ground. So we had like a bunch of different camera teams are going and getting just little things during the actual fight. So the 360 camera was used to capture the view from inside of the ring during the fight. So when the guys are fighting, then you want to see the background of the audience come in and let it look authentic. So use the 360 camera to capture the full space so that they can just replace any shot behind them, the full mask of 360, and so that every time they turn, the footage can turn with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's pretty dope.
I will tell you, I've been kind of lazy about 360 cameras, and Sean Oz, who spoke at the last spin up, he kind of turned me on to 360. He was like, man, you're missing the boat if you're not using it, because they literally, you can't miss a shot, really. I mean, if you have it in the right spot. The big thing is, though, there's an extra step. You have to take the footage and process it and put it through, decide what you want to do with it before you can actually edit it. So as long as you're willing to do that. So just today, I took, and I had a Instagram post earlier, and it was actually the real thing. I mean, I this is actually what I did. I took the Skydio 2 and a Insta360 1R, and I rode my bike and filmed the drone all around my head, following me with the Insta360 1R, and the Skydio 2 was filming me. So, I mean, and I'll say the tracking on the Skydio 2 is just insane. It's just off the charts. Well, Brennon, I don't know if you heard, and we're going to wrap up here pretty soon, guys. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. This is the first time I've tried this format, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I realize it's not the same as watching video, but again, I think the intent is a little different. But here's something, a little bit of trivia. The very first live stream I ever did on Ready Set Drone was with Brennon, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to come full 360, if you will, since we're on the topic. But no, I wanted to tell you.
That was beautiful.
I don't know if you heard, but last night I told everyone that Spin Up is going to be a virtual event, and it's going to take place September 12th.
It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. I've been able to go to Spin Up once, and I'm not exaggerating, Kelly. In all honesty, I was forever changed by the experiences I had and being able to see the speakers and listen to the different perspectives that you brought to that stage. So anybody that has a chance to be able to tune in, now that the barrier of entry has been lowered so much, considering you can actually just do it virtually and it's going to be a whole virtual experience, I think it's fully worth it, because you do a really, really good job of bringing together some really, really great drone minds, entertainment minds, and all the things that you really want to hear when you're if you're the audience of Ready Set Drone, because it's just amazing. You have a great network.
Dude, I appreciate that. So in the spirit of this experiment here with this format, I'm going to tap a button on my phone, and I think it's going to share a phone number with people. Do you have a few more minutes if people called in to ask some questions, Brennon?
Yes, I have a couple minutes. Let's do it.
Okay. So I just tapped it. Well, actually, now it's telling me I need to text somebody. So I'm just going to try texting this number, if he's still on, to let me see, Chris Hope, because I think he's still on. Chris, if you see this and you are still on, you want to dial in? Maybe you don't, and I'm putting you on the spot here. I don't know. But the whole idea here is that this is supposed to allow people to call in and have a conversation. I don't know if it's limited to 2, though. I don't know if it's like you'd have to get off the line for Chris to dial in. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, Brennon, I will let you go. I really appreciate you being on this. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. If Chris gets on in a minute, we'll chat with him, or maybe I just will. But dude, really, thank you so much. And I will be talking to you. We've had a chance to catch up a lot lately, and that's been nice. I will say one blessing of COVID has been, I feel like people are reconnecting with others that maybe they hadn't in a while.
I fully agree. I'm honored to always be a part of whatever it is that you would allow me to be a part of, and I'm always down to be I'm always down to be a guinea pig with you on new pieces of technology. I love that you're always pushing the envelope and playing with new things just to see what kind of content is going to work to be able to provide that better experience for the people who like the experience that Ready Set Drone and you and your family bring to this platform. So I'm 100% honored to be here. And yeah, man, thank you as always.
Well, you're very welcome. I appreciate it. I'm looking in the chat to see if Chris responded, but it's all good. All right, Brennan. Well, I'll let you go.
Wait, I want to bring up. There's one thing
Oh
I want to
yeah,
bring up though. One thing I
no,
want to bring up.
go, please.
Um, earlier, guys, like you said, we caught up. We had a really good conversation, and I just got to give a big shout out to Tate for being able to whoop his father's butt in the FPV simulator. So I'm just gonna give a shout out to Tate because he whooped your butt on that simulator.
So just so everybody knows too, as I said, I've been playing the DRL sim. Tate did a 10-day challenge where he played FPV simulator for 10 days, an hour a day, and he went from training wheels to like motocross. You know, he's doing dives down the side of buildings, he's doing power loops, and he's making way better times. The course that he liked the best, the first time he did it, it took him like 7 minutes, and now he's doing it in less than a minute. So in acro mode, like no stabilization on the drone. You know, the physics is a little bit different, but if you do want to learn how to fly FPV, you know, and I'm not the expert, but I can tell you common sense, and it's very true. Every FPV pilot I've ever talked to has said the same thing: fly the sims for a while. It's such a good way to start.
Yep, I've heard the same. So that's how I'm actually about to buy it too and do that because I'm sick of waiting on people. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna get really, really good so then I can just talk junk to people when I beat them in any kind of FPV racing.
Nice. All right, man. Well, it was really good talking to you. I'm going to see if I can bring somebody in just because I want to give it a try. As a matter of fact, I need to just probably add the number to the chat. It's 256-540-8245. But let me drop Brennan off and see if I can bring somebody else in. Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. I think it's just me now, and I'm going to try to see if somebody's on the other line. Oh, wow. I just brought it up. Yeah. So give a call to 256-540-8245 if you want to be on the, I wouldn't call it a radio, but I'd call it a audio program. This is really bizarre, like not having a camera or anything. It's really weird. I do hope that this is something that people can take advantage of too. Like I said, if you were driving or if you were doing something else, this would be a good opportunity to multitask with this technology. But I'm sitting here chatting. I just hit the fan line, is what it's called on this little app. But I don't know how to get anybody in if anybody's calling. Is anybody calling? If they are, I don't see it. And I think no. All right. If I don't hear anybody in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to get off this thing. As Brennan said, you know, it is a low barrier to entry to attend Spin Up this year. Just mark your calendar, September 12th. It'll be on YouTube on this channel, and it'll definitely be a lot of fun. It's going to be different. You know, if I had my choice, would I want to do it in person? Of course. But we are going to do an in-person event on October 3rd in Colorado. I'll have details about that. My goal in the next 2 weeks is to get the video out. Oh, I've got somebody calling right now. All right, I'm hitting accept on the call. Let's see who we got. Hey, you're the very first caller on this tech. How's it going?
Doing well, Kelly. It's Steve Carpenter.
Steve Carpenter. You know what? I recognized your voice actually after you said doing well. I probably could have guessed. How's it going? How's it going in California?
Well, it could be better without our governor locking us down from the beaches.
Yeah. No, that's well. I will say that things are starting to lift a little bit here in Austin. It's I think there are going to be restaurants opening next week, but everything right now is going to be like half capacity or less.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've got beautiful sunny sky today. We've had actually good sunny days here lately, but They're getting this afternoon fog in, so I haven't been able to do any sunset flights. That's what's got me frustrated.
Yeah. I definitely I've seen a few of yours. Don't you? You live Dana Point? Is that the name of the street or the name of
Correct.
the town? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Well, every time I think my memory's going, something like that pops in. I just remember these weird random facts about people. So, but yeah. So you heard that Spin Up is going to be virtual. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm happy as can be to hear it's going to be able to be done, because obviously with the way things are, there's no way that anybody could, get such an event together to have it on a short notice. And it's going to be a long time before the airlines are back up, people being able to travel. Like for me, I'm, flying in from California. So it's going to be a great way to get everybody together, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it, and I do think my hope is that I'm going to really work hard to make some interactive parts of it. Like this. This is actually part of the way I'm trying this. How cool would it be during Spin Up if we were able to dial people in? Because it's not easy for everyone to set up a camera, and I will say even bringing people in on video via Wirecast or OBS or whatever people use to stream. It's not, a lot can go wrong. This is kind of idiot proof. I'm proof of that, right? As the number one idiot.
Far from being an idiot, but the quality of the sound, you went dead for a little bit there with B at one point. I
Okay.
lost your signal here, but the audio is crazy good. I mean, both of you were even talking at the same time, and we could hear, I could hear both of you talking.
Well, so I'll give you a little clue. The team that makes this software is actually paying attention to this right now. They might even be watching this right now. So that feedback is great. They're looking for that kind of feedback. So thank you for providing that. It's funny though, because I'm wearing some AirPods and it's a little crackly for me. I don't have great phone reception at my house, so I'm outside in my front yard because I get better reception out here. But I'm going to go back and listen to this after the fact and see. But yeah, man, I'm glad you're glad that Spin Up is going to be virtual. And I also wanted to talk if we are away from social distancing, where people can get together. I would like to see if there's opportunities to do some watch parties. I think it'd be really fun to invite people from your area to get together. Again, it's going to be dependent on things, but who knows?
Oh, I'd be up for that. I mean, living where I'm at, I was just looking at the chat here. Should probably look at the chat. Roy, I'm in Dana Point, California is where I'm located. And I know because Aldrin's he's less than an hour south of me, and B is about the same. He's
Nice,
an hour
nice.
north of me.
Yeah. And both those guys, I think, would participate in a watch party again. If the timing's right. We don't want to push things, but hey, Steve, I appreciate you calling. I've got a couple of people in the queue, so I'm going to just see how this queue works. And then my hope is to do this each Saturday. Just kind of keep it casual. After First Friday, when I'm like all stressed out, this will be my relaxation. But thank you for being my very first caller on what I'm calling Speed Dial. By the way, I want to know in the chat, what do you guys think about the title Speed Dial if I'm doing this on a regular basis? What do you think of it, Steve?
I think it sounds good.
My only concern is that most kids aren't going to know what that means. You know what I mean?
I guess we're a little bit older.
Kids don't even dial these days. They just say, hey, hey Google or whatever. I'm afraid I'm going to activate something, but call so and so, and it happens. So, all right, man. Well,
yeah, Alexa.
Yes. Well, it's good talking to you. I'm going to try this chat line thing and see who's on hold.
I'll be listening. Take
Okay.
care. Good talking with you, Kathleen.
Okay. You too. Thanks, Steve. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let me see if I can bring somebody else in. I'm pushing the button. Hello, you're live on Speed Dial with Ready Set Drone.
Hey.
Hello. Is this Chris?
Kelly, it's Chris.
Hey, how are you, Chris?
What's up, man?
Oh wow, you're caller number 2 on the speed dial. My wife's giving me the thumbs up. She's like she's inside listening. I'm sitting on the front porch so I can get better phone reception. But hey man, your video was a big hit last night, and I didn't tell anybody who did it, and people immediate were like, Chris Hope.
Oh, it's kind of hard to miss my big ugly self.
Well, you weren't even you talking about that shot on the ATV? Was that you on the ATV?
Yeah, that was me riding up a little old hill here.
Okay.
Actually put the 4 in active track. I don't do that very much. That's probably the second time that I've ever done it.
Dude, you will have to try the Skydio in active track. It is insane how good it is. How it avoids. I'm gonna share this footage later of me running around with it, but it was just so awesome on my bike. And that's that's on roads. I would imagine you've got some trails cut on your property, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but the trails I got, I don't know, man. It'd be pretty tight.
Well, I would bet if you do it midday, I'll bet the Skydio could handle it. It really, I've been just super. I don't want to. I've only had it for about a month, and I've probably flown through. I've flown it 3 times, and I've flown 3 batteries each time, so 9 batteries. So what is that? About 20 minutes of flight time. So that's about 3 hours of flight time that I've had. But so far, no incidents other than there's a lot of UI issues with the Skydio, honestly, but its performance is great. I have a question for you, Chris. Your property. Do you have a lake on your property?
I call it a pond.
A tank?
The lake is behind tank. There you go. The big lake that everybody sees. My pond is my tank is in the pictures, but the big pond is what everybody sees.
Okay.
It's just over the fence.
It's beautiful. I mean, that sunset shot you included was fantastic.
Yeah, I took that probably about a month ago, I guess, Kelly. Up here one Saturday or Sunday morning, and we flew, and it just that's straight off the card, man. Right it.
Yeah, no post processing. Well, I do hope. I think I got a positive reaction to having you. And what do you think of my? I'm sure you've heard this your whole life. Just like I've heard jokes about beaches with my last name. But what do you think of 2 Minutes of Hope for the title?
I was telling somebody the other day that's probably the nicest thing I've heard said about my last name over the years.
Well, okay. I think we all need it, right? These are weird times.
Yeah, they're very weird times. I had to go to town today. First time I've been in Walmart, and I've been in Walmart twice in the last 7 weeks, I think.
Wow.
And I didn't really feel comfortable in there, I'll be honest with you.
Everybody wearing masks there?
Half and half, I would say.
So you have to in Austin, like it's required any building you go into. But I had this weird thought the other day. We went to Home Depot. My wife and I did a nice planter in our front yard. One of those, I guess it's really a not stainless. Anodized. What's the metal called? I'm blanking on it.
Yeah.
They're
anodized.
Yeah, like a trough. It looks like you put water in it. Anyway, we used it as a planter. And we went to Home Depot to get the plants, and we're standing there in line with our masks on. And I said, imagine trying to explain this to us a year ago, like us a year ago, us now trying to explain this to us a year ago. How we would never believe it.
Oh, exactly. I tell you what's weird about the whole thing is Texas is an open carry state.
I do know that.
All these people with these masks on and with a gun on their hip.
Oh yeah, walking into banks.
Are you legit or not?
Wow. Yeah. No. That is I had thought about going into a bank, but you walk into now you can't go to you probably couldn't go to Walmart because there's liquor. So or can you go to Walmart, but it's only places where you consume liquor or alcohol.
Walmart's concealed, but the one here at home is. But I know the little hardware store where I stopped at a while ago. There's a guy walking in. Of course, he got his 45 on his hip, walking in with his mask on. It's kind of like the old bank robber days. You walk in with a gun and a mask on, you're gonna rob him.
Yeah. Well, that's got something we got to get used to, I guess. I mean, yeah. I guess if he had done that, 6 months ago, they'd have been calling the cops, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
For
I
sure.
appreciate you calling in, and I really appreciate you doing the shots for me last night. My hope is that people will that you'll want to do that on a regular basis, but I don't want it to be a chore. But here's my thought, Chris, is anytime you got good footage that's not being used for anything else, you're like, hey, I need to throw this into something. Throw it in there, and then I liked adding the music. That was fun for me. I hope you like the track I picked. It's one of my favorite stock tracks in Epidemic. Um, and then
Good one.
and then I would say too, man, I don't think just like we are right now, we're not talking about drones necessarily, but if you have cool stuff of stuff life on the farm, most of us don't experience that, right? It's old hat for you, but if you're doing something interesting, like doing something with the cows or whatever, I'd say put that in there too, because I think people would, us city slickers would love to see what that's like. So there you go.
I can sure try.
Okay.
I got a kind of got an idea for next month, and it deals with it actually deals with a rifle.
Oh, nice. You gonna shoot a lipo pack?
Could do that. It's already been done. I've actually got a battery that's dead here already. We might do something like it.
All right, yeah. Shoot. Put your mask on. Shoot it, and then put
Exactly.
a bunch of black cat fireworks right next to it. So when you shoot it, we get lots of pops.
There you go.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being my second caller ever on this format. I will, like I said, I'm going to try and do this each Saturday, but I feel like I've been on. I'm just under an hour. I don't want people to get bored. So, Chris, I'm going to let you sign off. What's your last parting words for everybody?
Man, I'm gonna throw a little plug for our sunrise group, if that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely, please.
We start tomorrow morning. We fly on Saturdays and Sundays. There's a group that flies on Saturdays. The group I fly with flies on Sundays, and that starts off with Drone Bum in New York, and then Philly Mike. Go to Dennis Lovelady, and then we go to Roosevelt in Arkansas, and wind up with me in Texas.
Nice.
That starts about 5 o'clock Central Standard Time.
So basically, following the sun from east to west.
Following the sun, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Drone Bum got that started a couple years ago, so that's pretty fun.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I've been up a few times and caught you. I can't make any promises, but I will do my best to be there tomorrow. And I think that's what it's all about, right? You're getting to make friends across the country that you wouldn't know if it weren't for drones and YouTube.
Right. 6:30 is off early now. It's getting earlier now. The sun's coming up a whole lot quicker than it was a month ago.
Man, the couple of times I've been pretty far north during the summer, you could just pretty much stay up all night and the sun never goes down. It's pretty crazy.
Okay, that's something I've not experienced, but I'd like to one day.
Right on, man. Well, thanks again for being my second caller. I'm gonna drop off as well. Go eat some supper here in just a minute, and I will talk to you guys next week at this time. And please, leave comments. Let me know what you think about this format. It's a little different, but I thought it was fun to try.
Cool
All
deal,
right,
man. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Kelly.
All right, take care. Bye, everybody. I'm signing off.